her because it's in her best interest. That was the basis for the enactment. So you know something, if that's the case, she could say, I'm not interested in any favors. If you only originally legislated that I should be the beneficiary, I say, I'm not interested. So I could say that. So what do I have to give you my earnings? So that's what, because Ava. Because I'm going to take the support, I'm going to take my earnings, put it in my own account. So therefore, but if I say I'm not interested, I'm not interested. So if Rob says that a woman could say to her husband, Ein izon seini osa, I'm not interested in being supported, I'm not going to give him my wages, it's fine. Sovar, kitkinu rabbanim mizoni iker. Masidem mishum eva. So what is Rav is of the opinion? That why they legislated that she has to be supported, because a woman needs support. The reason why they said the earnings go to the husband is because he's supporting her. So if she says I'm not interested in support, there's no basis for animosity, right? Therefore, she has a right to say I'm not interested in being supported. I'm retaining my wages. Meisvei, we learned in the Brayso, tiknu mizonis tax masi, just the other way. Because the husband gets the masi yodayim, that's why he has to feed her. So it's contrary to Rav. Someone says, Amen, no, you have to alter the Brayso. Tiknu masi tax mizonis. Le Messiah le. Bring a proof from the Mishnah. It says in the Mishnah, Hamagdish masi yishto. Person goes and he consecrates the earnings of his wife. Hare he osa vochelis. You know, it's not a consecration. What do you mean? But if it's his earnings, why he isn't consecrated? My love, binizonis, meaning he has the ability to support her, and she says, I'm not interested. So that's the reason why. So it's a proof that what? Because that it's hers. That's why he can't count low. He doesn't have the means. If he doesn't have the means, it's understood it's not his. But if he would have the means, she can't turn him down. Okay? So what's the chiddush? What's the chiddush? If a man doesn't support his wife, right, because he doesn't have the means, so that he can't consecrate her earnings, that's a chiddush. It's of a poshut. It's understood that her earnings are hers. But the Mishnah says, he can't consecrate it. Simar says, what's the chiddush? Afilu l'mandi yom yochel rav loma le'evid asi v'nizonach. Let's say a person has Evid Kanani. Evid Kanani, you say, well, the master supports the slave. Let's say the slaves, the master, it's one of those kinds of masters says, you're going to work for me, I'm not going to feed you, you go beg. Even according to that opinion that a master could do so, although it's cruelty, but he could do it, Hani mili be'evid Kanani. That's only a Canaanite slave. Lo chsiv be'imoch. Doesn't say you have to treat him like yourself. Avol Evid Ivri, d'chsiv be'imoch, where it says you have to treat him as if he's with you. Lo, koshke mishto. So you can't treat an Evid Ivri this way. So your wife, you could say, even if I can't support you, I want your earnings. It's understood he can't take the earnings. So evidently, seemingly, right, there's a proof from the Mishnah. We need the Sefer for the conclusion of the Mishnah. What's the conclusion? Which the Mishnah doesn't discuss here. We're talking about Moser. We're talking about, in addition to the base earnings, let's say she earns more than that. The husband even gets the additional money, right? Now, a husband gives, let's say, a certain allowance to wife for food, right? You get a food allowance, like food stamps. Here, right? Gets allowance. Let's say so we'll say, why, so we say he takes the earnings for the money that he gives. But what if she earns more than that? So seemingly the addition should belong to her. Even that he gets. He even gets the moser beyond that. Why? Because it provides her something extra money that she should buy things for herself, let's say for Shabbos. Okay? So it's moser. Remeir Omer Hegdish. Remeir says that if a husband is magdish something, the additional earnings are what? Are consecrated. Because that belongs to him. No, he can't. What's the machos? What does Rameir say that the earnings are consecrated? She hasn't earned the money yet. How do you consecrate something if it doesn't exist yet? Right? So evidently, but you say, you have proof from that? No, Rameir doesn't necessarily hold that a person consecrates something that doesn't exist. Since he could force her to take the Masi Yadayim, her earnings, meaning like this, if the earnings belong to the husband, correct? So what about she? He says, I'm consecrating your hands for the earnings. Right? You following, Albert? Mean like this. Even if you hold, if I want to sell you 2017 yield, you can't. Because how could I sell you something that doesn't exist? It's 2015, 2 years. What about if I sell you an interest in the tree for that yield? So that exists now. Of course, that potential is within the tree. He says, I'm consecrating your hands for the earnings. That means the hands have the ability to earn that. So therefore, when it's produced, it's consecrated. That's a Rameir's position. This is Reish Lakish's understanding of Rameir. Some more. We'll say even if he's not supporting her, but nevertheless, the most of the additional money is consecrated. Above the allowance, which he can't afford to give her. Let's say he gives her, let's say, 5 shkolim a week. That's the allowance. $5 a week. She earns 10. No. So we're saying like this, and he can't afford to give it a 5. Can't afford to. He doesn't have. Even though he can't afford to give it a 5, so therefore, of course, you can't take the 5 if you don't give her anything. Everybody agrees to that. What about the additional money? The additional money, I can afford to give you that additional for Shabbos spending, which is a small coin, which is more on the next page speaks about. So that he has a right to. Although he doesn't give her the initial allowance that you'll take out from your earnings. Right? But what about what goes beyond that? The extra, the husband has a right to take that. So if he has a right to take that, so that means he could consecrate for that. Because he's giving her that extra coin, although it's a small coin, because he gives, that's why he has a right to take that. That extra small coin, I don't think it doesn't, even larger. Even larger. We'll see later. She can tell him, go take. That's the question. Could she tell him, I'm not interested on that? Well, she can say, the little one you gave me. But let's say it's no. There's going to be an argument when they originally legislated earnings versus what, and that little coin versus what. That's going to be an argument on the next page. That's an argument. Yeah, of course. But you're going to say that's only part of the 5 you're supposed to have given me. That's not the extra. So right. You're not entitled to my extra. You're entitled maybe to that little piece of the 5. Right. But that's not relevant. Right now we could say, but what's he consecrating? Whatever that little extra is, he's consecrating. Okay. So, but he didn't say it. When a person says something, it has to mean what he says. So Rameir says, he didn't say that. He didn't say her hand should be consecrated for the earnings. So the Gemara says, Rameir is of the opinion, I'll give you an example. The Torah speaks about erchin. We have it in Bahar. What's erchin? Every Jew has an innate value. So let's say a child is born, is 30 days old. From the age of 30 to 5 years old, a child's erich. If it's a female, it's 3 shkolim. If it's a male, it's 5. What about if it's before 30 days? That has no innate value. So let's say he would say that the erich of this child is 2 weeks old, I accept upon myself. So if you say a person speaks nonsense, it's nonsense. Mm-hmm. But if you say Rameir says a person doesn't speak nonsense, so what did he mean? He meant the value of the child if he be sold on the market as a slave. What would his value be? So we're not talking about the innate value. So he could be sold for $1,000 on the market. So he's obligated to pay Hegdish $1,000. But it's based on the principle. But according to what you said, you didn't say that. You said the erich of that child. So erich, but he has no erich. But if you say a person doesn't expend his words unless it has meaning, so he didn't mean that. He meant something else. Similarly here. Although he said the earnings should be consecrated, but you can't consecrate because the makdav shel b'olam. So what did he mean? He meant the hand should be consecrated for the earnings. Okay? That's what the Gemara means. Nasi ka'omelo, it's the equivalent as if he would have said, Yidushu yadayich lo seim. Your hand should be consecrated for their earnings. The Sovel of Meir, Eino Damotzi Mekadish Dov Shel B'olam. So Gemara asks now, you mean to say Rameir holds that a person can consecrate something that doesn't exist? Votanya, we learned in the Mishnah, in the Mishnah, it's a Mishnah, Votanya, Votanan, Homer Isharei Mugdeshesli, Lach Shiz Gayer. Here, A person says to a woman, I want to marry you after I convert. Olachish tizgairi. She's a shiksa. He says, here's money now. After you convert. La'achish tachrer. He's a slave. He says, I want to marry you after I will be emancipated. La'achish tachri. After you will be emancipated by your master. La'achish yomas bailich. She's a married woman now. Husband is on a ventilator. Says, look, the monitor, the line is going down. As soon as it hits 0, I want the marriage to take effect. Right now, she's a married woman. O shetomos achosech, your sister will die. Olach shet yachlotz liyvomech, remeir omer mukudeshes. So how could it be mukudeshes? Einot makdav shel balolam. Right now, she's not marriageable. She's a married woman, or right? But you see, remeir holds he could affect something into the future. So it's difficult. Reish Lakish. How could Reish Lakish say remeir doesn't hold out makdav shel balolam? From here we have a mission that says explicitly you can. So you know what Reish Lakish says. So Morsa saying the truth is he does hold that. Remeir holds out makdav shel balolam. You could affect something. Meholek l'mishnu. What Reish Lakish is only saying, but from our mission he can't bring a proof. If you want to bring a proof from our mission, that's the position of Remeir. You have no proof. You want to cite the other mission in Kedushin? From there you have a proof. It's like, you play devil's advocate. You want proof to me from the Mishnah. I say it's no proof from the Mishnah. Here, the Mishnah in Kesuvos. You want to bring the Mishnah in Kedushin? There, that's a proof. Now you're talking. Okay. Now he's quoting Mishnah, which is the later Mishnah, Hamoser. The additional earnings mean above the base salary. Remeir omer hegdish. Remeir says that is consecrated. Okay? Now the question is, when is it consecrated? Is it consecrated when he's alive, when she's alive? Or it means when he inherits that money, that's when it becomes consecrated. Okay? Amos. Rabbi Shmuel Darmi Tavayo Moser Lachem Misa. It becomes consecrated after she dies. No, it's not effective, because you can't consecrate something that's not yours. The moment she dies, he inherits that. Right? Now it's his. He's consecrating something which is his. No, he's...
Her earnings, question of her earnings is. If her excess earnings are his, then why couldn't he?
No, we're saying the Gemara's going to say. We're speaking about... The Gemara's going to ask the question. If he's giving her that extra coin, so then why it should take effect when he's alive? Because they're his. And if he gave her nothing, even afterwards, it shouldn't be his. Well, the Gemara's going to ask. Okay, the Gemara's going to discuss exactly what you're asking. Rabbi Shmuel says it takes effect after he dies, when he inherits it. No, it's consecrated even when he's alive. That means we're saying it belongs to him. So now Gemara's going to ask the question. After he dies, that Gemara's going to ask. If he's not giving the extra coin, so everybody should agree it's consecrated after he dies. Thank you. And if he is giving the coin, then Rabbi Shmuel should agree it should be consecrated when he's alive, because it belongs to him when he's alive. That's going to be the Gemara's question. When you ask the Gemara's question, that means you understand the Gemara, right? Okay. So Albert's yesterday he was a little out of touch. Today he's more in touch. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. So Ravada Barabba Omar, so Rabbi Shmuel says after he dies, that's when the extra is consecrated. Ravada Barabba says no, when he's alive. Moser Kodesh. Excuse me? Michaim Kodesh. Havi Borapov. So Rav Papa now poses the question. What are we talking about? Is he support feeding her? And is giving her that additional coin for her personal needs, to buy cosmetics or whatever else she needs? Consider Rabbi Shmuel. So if that's the case, the extra belongs to him when he's alive. So it should be consecrated immediately, right? Because it's his. Ella, what do you have to say? She'ein malum mazonos, v'lo malum mo, right? Mo kesef. He's not giving her anything. See, if he's not giving her anything, my time and mandi yomim chaim kodesh. So why is it consecrated when he's alive? Everybody agrees. If he doesn't give it that extra money, it doesn't belong to him. So if it doesn't belong to him, so why does Rav Ada Barabba say it's consecrated when he's alive? Manav shach. La'olam, listen to the story. La'olam b'malum mazonos. He's paying her. He's giving her an allowance just for food. Ve'nemalo more kesel, but he doesn't give her that additional money for extras that she needs, cosmetics or whatever it is. Yeah? So what's the argument? Rabbi Shmuel Sava, tiknu mizonos tachas ma'aseh. 1 second. Mizonos, what is what? Mizonos and earnings go hand in hand. Okay? More kesef tachas moser. And the what's his name? And the more kesef goes for the additional salary. Okay? So what happens? The kevdo yovlo more kesef, moser didohavi, right? Rabbi Shmuel says like this. Why does he have to feed her? Because he's getting her salary. When does he get the additional money if he gives it her more? So let's say he doesn't give her that additional money. Who does it belong to? Right? Beyond the base salary. That belongs to her. So if that's the case, if he consecrates it, he can't consecrate something that's not yours. So when does it take effect? After she dies. Because after she dies, he's the heir, he inherits her. That's why the Hegdish takes effect after he dies, after she dies. You following?
Why would he not give her the silver coin?
Because maybe the earnings are less than the coin. Let's look practical. It's worth less than the coin.
But otherwise, it's a foolish.
Right? Or maybe he doesn't have the means. No. Let's say he can't borrow. He can't. You know, I'll give you an example. There's a one-of-a-kind of piece of property to buy, or a diamond to buy. Can't afford it. You can't borrow the money. You can't afford it. So what are you supposed to do? No, you lose it. Finished. He can only afford to support her. More than that, he doesn't have a red cent to his name. So she keeps the additional money. So now he consecrated. You can't consecrate something that's hers. But what happens after she dies? Now you inherit it. So now it takes effect. Okay? That's Rav and Shmuel. Ravada Barava Sova, no, Tiknum Bezonis Tachs Moser. The food, you get the addition because you support her. That's additional to the salary. The Moser, additional to the base salary. Wait a minute. Umokesef Tachas Masiyodeo. The extra coin, that's for the Masiyodeo. So there, became the over the Mazoni. So if he feeds, gives her, he supports her. So if that's Moser. So then the additional money belongs to him. So therefore you consecrate. When does it take an effect? It takes effect when he's alive. Okay, so now what's the argument? Why does Rabbi Shmuel say, seemingly Rabbi Shmuel are more logical? The base salary corresponds to the support, and the additional salary corresponds to that extra coin. That's Rabbi Shmuel. No, Rabbi Barab says no. The base salary corresponds to what? To the additional salary. And the support corresponds to what? To what's additional. The Micah, what are you arguing? Marsova midi de shchich, midi de shechiach. Let's talk, okay? A woman works, right? Everybody is capable, unless they're an invalid, to earn base salary. You can earn, so therefore that's something that's common. So therefore, mizonis means a person needs food to be fed. So Chazal said, you know something, you have to feed her because it's a daily need. And daily she can earn a certain amount. So they say, therefore we say it's an exchange. Support for daily salary, for daily earnings. Because that's, what about a woman who makes more than the base salary? That's already an exception. That means she's exceptionally capable. A woman who's able to earn more than that, that means you're exception. So that's not a usual thing. So the MOKS is also not. How often do you need that extra money to buy extras? Right? So we equate what's usual to what's usual, and what's unusual to what's unusual. Okay? Therefore, the bezonis corresponds to the salary, and the silver coin corresponds to the excess for her needs. Okay? Marsova midi de shchich, midi de shchiach. Marsova midi de kayitz, midi de kayitz. What is midi? No, kayitz means it's specific. Kayitz means something which is a set amount. Because look, the more kesef is a set amount, right? It's one silver coin. What is the mizonos? What is the mizonos? The mizonos is what? Is also a set amount. Daily amount. I have to feed you every day. So therefore the mizonos corresponds to the what? To the one coin. And the earnings correspond to what? To the moser. Meisvei. Again, Ravad Barabba says that the earnings, the Maisiyadayim correspond to the moser. Right? Because that's set. A woman earns $5 a day, $5 a week. What's the moser? One coin. That's a set amount. Okay?
Yes.
Now, her needs are not a set amount. It varies per week. So that's the case. That is what? So the extra corresponds to the additional money, right? To the additional money. Meisvei. We learned in the Brisa, Tiknu Mizon is Tachas Masi Yodeo. So we say we're equating support with earnings. So this supports what? Rav and Shmuel. Right? We're saying it's a trade-off. Support, base support for earnings. So that's good. That's what Rav and Shmuel said, correct? So that refutes Ravad Baravo. So Ravada answered, Emo Tachas Mosa Masi. When it says Masi, that doesn't mean her earnings. It means it's earnings, but it's excess to her earnings. Excess to her earnings. So then it's not different. It doesn't refute him. Okay? Toshma. What happens if he doesn't provide her with that extra silver coin? For her needs. Now we have a problem. Then she keeps her earnings. So you see clearly from here that the earnings correspond to the extra money. So this refutes Rav and Shmuel. No, but it says no. If he doesn't give it that, if he doesn't give it the extra, not though. No. The Masi there means her earnings. The base earnings. Masi there means the base.
So he loses the whole thing?
No, he doesn't know. Maybe he'll get the excess. If he gives it a coin, he'll get the excess. He won't get the base earnings. He won't get the base earnings. So this supports who? This supports Ravada Baravo. Ema Mosa Masiyadeo. Shalom. No, we speak about the same thing. He says, what's in addition to the Masiyadayim? Somewhere says, V'alok Tony. But it says, Allah. Right? And no sin mo kesed l'tzorchem Masiyadeo Shalom. V'alok Tony. Mahi oselo. He says, what is the base earnings? Mahi oselo. How much is she supposed to earn for him? Mishkol Chamish Sloim. The equivalent of 5 Sloim, which is Shtei Yehuda, which is 2 in Yehuda. Right? That's the question. How could you say it's referring to the additional? It says explicitly in the Brisa. And what is the Ma'aseh Yodayim? Rabbi Shmuel answered. You know what it means? That means the excess of Ma'aseh Yodayim. But it says explicitly in the Brisa. Mahi Osa. And what does it mean? What is her earnings? It says Mishkol Chamish Sloim. So that's the base. That's the base amount, which is Shtei Yehuda. So it says clearly in the Brisa that the earnings do not correspond to the more, which supports Ravada Baravo. You following? Rav and Shmuel say the base earnings correspond to the what? To the Mazonos. And here we quote a Brisa, it corresponds to what? To the additional, the extra. So he says, no, what it means, earnings, when it says earnings, no, when it says earnings, when it says Masiyadeo, it means the excess to our earnings. This is how to say excess. It says explicitly in the Brisa. And what is it? What is Masiyadeo? 5 shkolim, 5 sloim, 5 coins. So what are we talking about? The excess, or we're talking about the base salary? The base. What? Excepting, there it's 2. Right, good. But we see clear we're not talking about what's excess to the base salary. So this refutes Rabbi Shmuel. On that he says, what is the base to know what the excess is? You know, a person says, I'm giving you a bonus. So the employee says, you give me a bonus. That's my base salary. You're not giving me a bonus, right? So that's what it means. We have to know what the base is to know what the excess is. Hochi Komer. Masi Kamo, what is the base salary? Kabahave, the Leda Mosadido Kamo, to know what the Moser is. We have to know what the base salary is to know what excess is. What is expected of her? Now we can talk about excess. Mishkol Chamish Loim, Shteis Yehuda, Shein Eses Lom Begolium, which is 10 in Golium. 5 in what's his name? It's 5, which in Yehuda is 2, which in Golil is 10. I don't know what they had a different weight system, huh? It's with different weights. The coins were different.
Yeah, maybe coins were
The coins, no, they were heavier coins. They're heavier coins. And in Golia, they were lighter coins. Omar Shmuel, okay? So we have an argument. We quoted before, Rabbi Yochanan Sandler says, Chulin, that if a husband wants to consecrate the earnings of his wife, it's Chulin, right? It's not consecrated, the Mishnah says. Omar Shmuel haloch Rabbi Yochanan Sandler. We rule like Rabbi Yochanan Sandler that what the husband says is meaningless. Shemar says, Miyom Shmuel hoch v'tanan koinim shnei osa lepicho, ein tzorch lohafir. Tanakam, a person says, konim she'ani osa lepicho, meaning, konim she'ani osa lepicho, ein tzorch lohafir. The wife says to the husband, I'm making a neder, you cannot benefit what you want from my earnings. The husband doesn't have to null it. Why? Because since he had a claim to them, you can't prohibit something that's rightfully mine, right? You can't infringe on my rights. Correct? Reb Kiva miyofir. Reb Kiva says no. He has to nullify it. Why? Shemetadif olov. Because what happens is she earns more than she has to, than she's obligated to. The base salary, you're right. The netter doesn't take effect. But Reb Kiva said, but what happens if she earns more than the base salary? Then no. Then the net will be affected. For the additional, so Reb Kiva says you got to play it safe. And because if you don't nullify it within a 24-hour period, the husband can't nullify it any longer. Which means when the husband became aware of the netter, right? The Torah says, normally you can nullify any net if you go before a bezdin. But that's up to the woman. What about within 24 hours? The husband hears about it, he says, I don't want it to be, it's gone.
There are two things here that I'm getting confused with. One is that he can't sanctify it.
That's it, son. No, she's making a netter. She says, yeah.
He can't sanctify it because one, either it's not in existence yet, that was one discussion, or because
it's not his. It's not his.
It's not his.
So we're going right now, it's not his. It's not because it doesn't exist.
Nothing doesn't exist. We got off that.
Right, we're off that. We're going like Reish Lakish. It's not his, that's the reason. Right, so now we have to talk. A woman makes a netter, you cannot benefit from my earnings. So Rabbi Yochanan, so the Tanakam says he doesn't even have to nullify it. Right, because a netter is not effective, because she can't prevent him from taking what's rightfully his. Right. Rabbi Kiva says, but you want to be smart, do it. Because what happens if she makes more than the base salary? So it's going to affect that. So therefore, nip it in the bud, it's gone. You nullify it. Okay? Rabbi Yochanan Nuri Omer Yofir. Hear this? Nullify. Why? Because Shema Yigar Sheno. What happens if he divorces her? Ute Asura Lazor. Here? Because let's say he divorces her, then he wants to remarry her. Wait. Good. Let's say before he marries her, let's say a woman's a single woman, never married her, and she says, all my earnings from now going forward are off limits to you. And he marries her. Could she benefit from his earnings? No. Because when she made the netter, she wasn't his wife. Because then she made the netter, my earnings are off limits. Now she marries her. Everything already is locked out. So here, what happens if he should divorce her, and he wants to remarry her? The moment he divorces her, now the netter takes effect. Before it didn't have any value because she can't prevent taking what's rightfully his. But what happens if he divorces now? The netter takes effect. And it takes effect like she was never married to him. It's for now and for the future. But, so therefore, you want to be smart. In case you have in mind to take her back, or that possible is possible, nullify it now so that even if you divorce it, the netter doesn't exist to take effect any longer. No. Those days, people used to remarry their wives. They did. They had a financial problem, he divorced her. Now he could afford it, he takes her back. As long as she didn't marry another man in the interim. We both know the same person. Who is it? I didn't know that. Okay. As it says, it takes one to know one. I got it. And each time there was a settlement.
I don't know who gave who, but she didn't do this either.
I understand that. But it says, Yesh lo monorut Messiah, as much as you have here, never have enough. Okay.
But when you're going out of this world, you don't
take it with you. Okay. So Rabbi Yochanan says, Yov Shimi Garshena, Utei Asura Lazar. Vome Shmuel, and Shmuel says, Halach Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Yeah. So over here he says, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Before he said, we rule like Rabbi Yochanan Asandor, that what? That it's nothing. It's nothing. And here he says, you rule like Rabbi Yochanan Nuri, La Dofo. That's the additional money. Be the base salary, he can't. Elo Omer of Yosef Konomus Kamrit Shani Konomos Bitoch Shadam Ose Peris Chavero Olov Odom Magdish Dov Shel Bolov. It's a whole different concept. Rego says, we're talking about, he says Konim. Konim is consecration. He's of the opinion that just as you could, when I make, say, Konim, I make a netter. Normally, if I want to consecrate somebody else's thing, I can't. It's not mine. But if I want to say somebody else's thing is off limits to me, I can. So the same thing with Hegdish. If you want to be Magdish something, although it doesn't exist, it's effective. It's effective. Amalei Abai Bishlam Odom Osa Peris Chavero Olov Shekein Odom Osa Perosov Al Chavero. Yeah. Yes, a Dov Shlo Bolam Al Chavero. I could prohibit Dov Shlo Bolam Al Chavero Shekein Ein Odom Osa Peris Chavero Al Chavero. That's what he's asking. Here, he says, I could prohibit somebody else's fruits on myself as I could prohibit my fruits on someone else. Right? What's the rationale? Why, even something else doesn't work, why could I say his things are off limits to me? Because it relates to you. No, because it relates to you. So why could I say my things are off limits to you? Because I own what I own. But regarding something that doesn't exist, right? Could I prohibit something that doesn't exist on my friend? It doesn't exist. How could I prohibit it? So identically, you can't prohibit something that doesn't exist on yourself. If it's a question of ownership, as long as that has any relevance to you, you can make a netter. But if it doesn't exist, you can't affect it. Here he says, the hand should be consecrated for the maker.
So when she was married, they had need to do that. Is that right? So when she was married, he could hegdish her hand?
No, that's what she said. She said, my hands are consecrated to the maker.
What did you just say there?
She said, my hands are consecrated. So the hands are here now.
Right. What do we have over here? Did he say your hands were things that your hands would be consecrated?
No, we're saying, we're going back over here. She said, my hands should be consecrated to the maker because she didn't want the husband to benefit from it.
Okay.
So we say that affects the future.
Right.
So how could it affect the future? So the answer is because the hands are here.
Right.
She didn't say my earnings of the future should be off limits, because then it's a problem.
Yeah.
So she says my hands should be consecrated for the earnings of the future.
Right.
So because the hands are here, therefore it's not a problem. I own my hands. Right?
But the husband can't say your hand, right? The husband can't.
So that's when I ask a question. Right? And if she says it, is she affected? Now, if he has the right to those hands for earnings, again, we're getting back to square one.
Yeah.
You have no right to do it.
Because
Like you can't prohibit your earnings on me because your earnings are rightfully mine. Right. Your hands are indebted to me to produce. So how could Hegdish interfere with my right? My right precedes yours. It's like we talk like this. You have a first lien and a second lien. Who collects first? The first lien. Because mine was here. I have first rights. How could you consecrate your hands for the earnings? Your hands are indebted to me to produce the earnings.
Right.
It's like you're consecrating my thing.
good.
That's the Gemara's question. Even if you talk about the hands, the Gemara asks, even if she said that, is it consecrated? The hands are indebted to him. They're indebted to him to produce. She says, they should be consecrated when I'll be divorced. Now it's not effective. It'll take effect when I'll be divorced.
Okay.
So the moment she's divorced, it takes effect.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's what we advise the husband, nullify it now.
Right.
So when she gets divorced, the netter is not going to be a netter. The netter is a netter now to take effect later.
He can't benefit from her,
No,
from her hands after the divorce.
see, but what happens if now he wants to remarry her? He got,
The benefits are gone.
that, because the netter will take effect then. So therefore, they advise him, you want to be smart? Nullify it now. Because when was the netter made? Now. So if he nullifies now, even if that gets divorced, it's not going to take effect. You have to preempt it.
Amazing the thought process.
To be continued. Okay.